Good day, amazing listeners, and welcome to an exciting episode of Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Today, we are diving into the life of one of our talented hire VAs here in Sphere Rocket and explore the beautiful life of remote work. I am your host, Sweet, and without further ado, let's get to know our guest a little bit better. Hi, Jeremiah. How
Hi,
are
Sweet.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad to be on your show tonight.
Yes, I'm so happy that you were able to lend us your time as well to share your stories here in our podcast. And let's get us straight ahead. Let's kick things off of your about your background. What was your journey before you've become a virtual assistant?
Well, prior to me being a social media manager, I started off as like how one would usually start as a VA. I've worked at a call center for roughly around 7 years. After which I've honed skills. I've tried to learn as much as I can about social media communication, artificial intelligence, and office administration as much as I can before I actually like run through an interview for a virtual assistant. My first job as a virtual assistant actually was with a very small startup located in Encinitas, California. So that's where I actually got my groove as a social media manager. We've launched numerous campaigns for them, which eventually helped them. Um, well, it's actually a launch pad for them to like kick off the whole business. And yeah, I found this job with Sphere Rocket, and it's been awesome since.
Love that. Wow, 7 years in the call center and then transitioned into being a VA. So, what was that turning point in your life that you decided to become a VA finally and not pursue being a call center agent in like a BPO industry?
Well, during that 7 years, but I was in the middle of the pandemic when I
Mm.
started working with as a virtual assistant. So it was pretty. I think everybody would be a testament for it. It was a
Mhm.
pretty harsh time for everybody. The pandemic hit was really hard for us call center operatives since everybody had to transition home. Most of us had to be laid off because of lack of business opportunities. So that was it was a wake up call for me to actually develop more skills. And VA was an upcoming, well, it already existed, but during the pandemic, it was an up and coming business. So I tried to like, as a normal human being, try to take advantage of all the opportunities that I could get. So yeah, I think that was what propelled me to become a virtual assistant first and foremost.
Love that. I think really the pandemic was for a lot of people was a curse and a blessing at the same
Yeah.
time because of course it was a hard very hard time for every one of us, and also a lot of businesses and opportunities was really skyrocketed because of the pandemic, especially the VA industry and this remote work setup. And that was really great that you were able to pivot uh, right away and learn new skills, as you said a while ago. So, how about can you share to us your experience with how you found Sphere Rocket and how did they help you land your client?
So with the virtual assistant space, I think most of the VAs that's currently working in this platform would understand that no client is a permanent client. So when I
Mhm.
started, I already knew that we were contract employees, and eventually, due to automation, we will be terminated as long. Well, as far as the business is concerned. My previous employer was very generous enough to keep us as much as they can actually. So when things got automated, because particularly my specialty is social media marketing. So when a startup business has enough funds, they tend to get things automated. So um, what I did is I was actually looking for a job in the middle of my contract because it was a pretty
Mm-hmm.
unstable playing field. So I just had like multiple opportunities lined up, but none of them were actually being translated to like a career opportunity. I stumbled upon Sphere Rocket just merely by accident. I was browsing
Oh.
through my Facebook. My girlfriend was um, like she was browsing through her Facebook as well, and we were both in the virtual assistant space, and she recommended me this company. So I was like informed that this is a pretty great landing platform for me to find clients and look for opportunities that actually would suit me because I have a really big passion with social media and marketing, especially with communications. So I
Mm-hmm.
found the opportunity with Sphere Rocket. The designation was specifically for what I wanted it to be, which is social media. And yeah, I'm pretty fortunate that I got like a very quick response, got connected with multiple clients actually, had a lot of interviews, and eventually landed with my current client. So yeah, I'm pretty blessed. I mean, not a lot of virtual assistants or employees working in the virtual assistant space would have the opportunity that I have right now and would be really jealous of what I got with Sphere. But yeah, I mean, Sphere has really been helpful in like getting me the support that I need and the clients that I actually prefer rather than just you know throwing me out in the open and just letting me decide for like whatever job that I could get in the in the industry. So
Yeah, having or finding a perfect client for you or perfect match for you, or even if it's like not perfect, like a match or a client that suits your passion and your strengths is not that easy in this playing ground or in this industry of being a VA, because sometimes you applied for one role and then you will land into another role, and you have to have that flexibility, right? And that you were and I am so happy for you that you were able to land a client and to find a match for you. And I can really see that you were really enjoying being a social media manager with your client right now. And I would like to deep dive a little bit about you being a social media manager specifically. So what was the process of you like learning more, or what was the instance that spark in your heart that, oh, I want to be a social media manager? And what was the process of you developing that skills in order for you to grow and help your client as well?
well, during the pandemic, I had the opportunity to get myself educated. I was employed, so I had the means to get myself educated. Went back to school, studied marketing communications, and social media was one of the courses that I had to take. It was pretty interesting because as a person, I really never bothered myself with social media. So I know that I know very little about social media prior to 2019. I know that Facebook was a platform where people vent their emotions, as well as Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok was an upcoming social platform where people danced, sang, cooked,
Yeah.
whatever. So that's pretty much the information that I have with social media. So when I took myself, when I got myself educated with social media and how actually it could be a lucrative opportunity for me to make money,
Mhm.
I it just was like, um, it was the spur of the moment that I was really interested in how the analytics of social media goes. Because when the pandemic hit, everybody was in a standstill, and social media was the only platform that's active. People advertising their commodities, like making money out of content. So the thing that hit me is, one of my professors said that, in this current situation and going forward, content is king. So I love making contents. So that's basically my spark in learning more about social media and honing my skills, and um how I could incorporate social media in an industry setting. So when I learned more about social media, it just became a natural thing for me as a competitive person to try and help as much people as I can using the knowledge that I have garnered. So I developed very creative campaigns with social media. Learned and deep dive more about search engine optimization, learned to read analytics, and learned to express data in words. So I think that's basically how I managed to get myself actually incorporated with social media.
Yeah, that was really great. And continuously educating yourself with
Yeah.
your passion. And there's this because I myself also have an experience being a social media manager, so I feel like we have something in common. And I would like to know, because sometimes previously I've also encountered some clients that there is a misconception that if they hired a social media manager, their accounts will like skyrocket right away. So how do you manage client expectations when it comes to like having their accounts grow instantly? How do you like communicate that kind of misconception?
Well, first, I think by setting proper expectations and letting them know that social media is a tool. It's really not something that happens automatically or overnight. We have to like equip ourselves first with this particular tool, which is social media, and use that to our advantage. So what I do is I always make sure that I set proper expectations that in order for us to use social media effectively and efficiently, we have to pump out contents out of it first. So people has to see something on their social media pages before we can use it as a tool for them to grow. So by knowing when to actually post, when specifically meaning the time, the time of day, the days needed to be posted, uh, the days that needed posts to be posted,
Mhm.
scheduling properly, reading, um, reading target audience languages, and making sure that we incorporate the common terminologies that their audiences use. So I think by letting them know that this is not an overnight thing, that we need to develop and work together as partners, instead of me being an employee and you being my employer. We are both in this together. We'll try and make as much of your tool, or basically their social media platform, um, garner audiences as much as it can. I think it sets a proper tone with our clients on how they would actually approach social media rather than it being a springboard in which, like, this could get us an overnight success. So it's basically a gradual and continuous process as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love how you say that this is a two-way street as well. It is a communicative process as well. It is there is a process for everything, and I like how you say that there's no such thing as overnight success, especially with social media. Sometimes you can get lucky
Yeah,
when your the content that you produced hit like a million views or gone viral in just a short span of time, but that is not the goal. The goal is
yeah,
as a social media manager is to become consistent and know the audience, or letting the audience know, or your target market, your branding, and
yeah.
what
Because the
your
statistics says
your
basically. Sorry, sweet. So because the
Yo, go
statistics
ahead, go
really
ahead.
says
It's okay.
because the statistics really says that like for example, people with overnight successes on their social media pages. Let's take Mr. Beast as an example. Before Mr.
Mhm.
Beast actually became a success, he had pumped like hundreds of videos already before like he gathered a single video which hit the market, like, and propelled his influence all over social media. So on a particularly good day, he could hit like 10 million views on a single video. But if you're gonna look into its history, mm, the videos prior to that were just hitting 100 views or like 15 views before it actually like became really big. So um by setting the proper expectations that you know client or like whatever you call them, um we need to pump content first. So we need essence, we need value first before we can actually like get something out of your social media. So I think it's more of like making the content and making it timely, and it success just happens afterwards.
Yeah, I love that. Giving the essence and giving value first before expecting a success or a result. It's really about your intentions of why you're doing a certain thing. And yeah, thank you so much for that. That was really, really so informative, Jeremiah. And how about I would like to deep dive now about your work, or your life as social media manager and working from home. And because working from home really often blur that line between personal and professional life, because you're just in your comforts of your home. So how do you usually handle that, maintaining that healthy work life balance?
Well, for me, I'm pretty strict with my working hours. So I
Mm.
come in on time, like specifically like on time. So usually 15 minutes early, and I leave 15 minutes later than my time. So I work 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would usually come in like on an office setup 8:45 p.m. 8:45 a.m. and leave 5:15 just to make sure that I got every basis covered. Um, I also set my employers expectations that I'm not gonna be picking up the phone on the weekend. Like you can leave me messages, it's okay. Send me emails, whatever. But I they are not expecting me to reply to those messages, but I make sure that I take note of those messages as well, so that we can discuss it the moment that I come in. So I think setting a boundary for yourself separates your work and your actual life. So by doing like I know that we're just working from home, and it's the lines really blurred because your home is your office setup. But I make sure that I'm in just one particular space when I'm working, so that when I go around my house, it doesn't really feel that I'm actually just working like all over the place. So I know that this particular spot is a spot where I work. I work at this particular time and leave at this particular time. So I still treat it as like a corporate job. The only difference is it's just on the comforts of my own home. So
Yeah, love that. Yeah, because establishing a really good boundary between you and your client and yourself as well would really be a big help. And as you can see, guys, with Jeremiah here, that was really effective with him, like establishing a really good or a specific spot for you to work, and the specific spot for you to hang out or for you to sleep, because that is also psychology. Like if you're
yeah,
working in your bedroom, right, the tendency of you being sleepy would be higher. And yeah, that was really great that you are establishing boundaries and still being on top of your game as a social media manager. So speaking of being on top of your game as a social media manager, the role is really like, it can be diverse, like you're handling graphics, like ca- social media calendar and stuff like that. So is was there ever a time that you have been burnout, and how did you handle that?
well, I don't think of like burnout as something that hinders someone working on the virtual assistant space. Burnout happens everywhere. I think the proper perspective on that is just motivation. So
Mhm.
why are you doing the things that you do? So I think that's the important mindset to have. Um, Burnout occurs like it doesn't really pick an experience. So it's whether you're burned out of a job, you're burned out of you're burned out of your family, you're burned out of your life. I think it just boils down to what motivates you to do the things that you do. In my perspective, like I got burnt out one time when I was studying because I was led astray. Like I don't know what my priorities are. I think I just wanted to have fun, so I stopped. I stopped going to school altogether and just started working. And when I started working, like there are goals that needs to be met. So and as a very competitive person, I because I previously played sports, so that translates to what I actually do, like day in and day out. So um, those particular goals propelled me into just coming into work, coming day in and day out, doing what I can do to fulfill those goals, even if those goals were unrealistic. I try to fulfill it, and the sense of like fulfilling those unrealistic goals, it had an effect on me when I transitioned to the virtual assistant space. So I always set my mind into like what I can do, what I can do now, and what I can do tomorrow. So I don't bother myself with being burned out. I just make sure that I'm always motivated to do what I wanted to do and what my personal goals are. So yeah.
Being motivated in pursuing your goals and sticking to your why. And yeah, because it's really hard to score if you don't have a goal and you're all around places.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was really great, Jeremiah. And if there's someone out there for sure listening to this right now who wants to become a social media manager as well, and wanting to be a VA, especially here in Sphere Rocket, what will be that one piece of advice that you want to give them?
Well, one piece of advice is I think most people don't really hear this as much as, because the perception is it's just easy to be a VA because it's basically just an assistant or an admin or whatnot. But it's hard. There are no instructions on the work. You are driven by output, and you are expected to continuously learn and learn things that you don't actually know. So my one piece of advice is never stop learning, never stop trying. Um, just don't stop with what you currently know, and just move forward. You can make mistakes in this space. It's the clients are humans too. I mean, they understand that you may make mistakes. They understand that, and just let them know that you're there. Let them know that. Let them feel that you're always there, and let them realize how important you are to their business or to their personal needs. So yeah, I think that's one big piece of advice that I could get or I could give as a virtual assistant or even as a social media manager.
Yeah. I like how you said that clients are humans too, because sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like it was a usual misconception, or sometimes some VA forget that, because there is a barrier between like here we're working virtually, so sometimes they forget that, oh, they have emotions too. And yeah, being proactive was the name of the game of being a VA. Like you said, there's no instructions, it will be really hard, but that's how we grow, and that's how we grow as a virtual assistant. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for that. And speaking of the value that a VA brings to the table, so for potential clients who's listening to this right now, so considering who are considering getting a virtual assistant or a social media manager, what do you believe is a unique value that a social media manager brings to the table?
Well, a unique value I think is persistence. So if you're looking for a social media manager, you need a social media manager that's really persistent. Um, your creative thoughts and their creative thoughts may not match, but if your social media manager is really persistent, they would actually find a way on how to match the spirit that you want to be or you want to exemplify, and that will reflect on the content that they will produce. So I think that's a very unique characteristic that one social media manager should have.
Yeah, persistence is the name of the game. And I like how you emphasize that there will be times that the creative idea of the client and the creative idea of the social media manager sometimes has a little bit of a mismatch. And it's really about persistence and not really giving up on each other, is what will make them a success, or what will propel them to succeed in the business, and especially with the social media aspect or marketing aspect of the business. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing those wonderful stories and inspiring words, Jeremiah. And before we proceed to our lightning round, let's have a quick commercial.
Ever dreamed of swapping your hectic office for a comfy home workspace? At Sphere Rocket VA, we make that dream a reality. Say goodbye to rush hours and hello to remote work. Enjoy more time with family, more time for yourself, all while building your career. Interested? Apply now at www.spherejobs.ph.
And we're back, still here with Jeremiah, and it's time for our lightning round. So these are just quick fire questions and just fun questions as well. So are you ready?
Yep.
Awesome. So which do you prefer, day off or bonus pay?
Day off.
Cool. And what is your favorite social media platform?
X.
What was that platform?
Twitter. X. It's X now.
Oh, X. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not updated to that. Okay. And which do you prefer, voice or non-voice?
Neither. I really don't like both. So,
Okay. And what is your favorite midnight snack?
pineapple.
Oh, wow. And which do you prefer, coffee or tea?
Tea.
And what is your dream country to visit?
Austria.
Wow. And what is your most expensive purchase?
This MacBook.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one word to describe Sphere Rocket.
Awesome.
Awesome indeed. And one word to describe being VA.
Mm, hard.
Hard and yet fulfilling. I
Yeah.
added. And yeah, thank you so much, Jeremiah, for that
Thank you,
wonderful
sweet.
conversation that we had. And the floor, I will be giving the floor to you if you want to shout out anyone or thank anyone. The floor is yours.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Sweet, for the opportunity today. Sphere Rocket for like all the opportunities. Your trainings are really awesome. I'd like to give my girl a shout out. And hi, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. And everybody in the Sphere Rocket family, um, hang in there. Happy
Love.
holidays to everyone.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. And there, guys, there you have it, guys. That's a wrap for today's episode of Sphere Rocket Network Podcast. A big thank you again, Jeremiah, for allowing us to know your stories and for sharing us your time. And friends, stay connected with us on our social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Just search for Sphere Rocket and you'll find us spreading positivity, innovation, and remote work vibes. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes of Sphere Rocket Network podcast. Until next time, stay productive, stay positive, and keep reaching for the stars.
Do you want to apply as a Sphere Rocket virtual assistant? Well, look no further because this video is for you. I will be telling you which requirements you will need to submit in order to apply to our new website, plus a few tips and tricks to help you with your initial interview. We have achieved a better way for you to send in your application, so let's begin. Step 1. Visit our website
at www.spherejobs.ph.
Step 2. Fill in the application by inputting your full name, email, number, and other questions that you will need to answer in order to move on to the next step. Step number 3, send screenshots of your updated CV, Tony Robbins PDF result, internet speed screenshot with a minimum of 10 Mbps, a scanned copy of your government ID, and your portfolio with sample works. Step 4, click the submit button and wait patiently for our email. Now here are some tips on how to stand out during your initial interview. Tip number 1, dress up as if you were going to an in-person interview. Wearing something formal will give the interviewer a sign that you are serious about applying to this job role. Tip number 2, find a quiet space where your interview will be held. There's nothing worse than getting distracted by the noise around you and not being able to understand what the interviewer is saying. Tip number 3, be yourself and show up as confidently as you can. Know what you bring to the table and honor your worth. Interested in becoming a part of our team? Submit your application now
at www.spherejobs.ph.
Good luck!